shadows, their weapons gleaming in the moonlight. The taller mercenary smirked. "So, you're the son of Kaelion. Let's see if you live up to the legend." Eryndor's hand tightened on his sword hilt, his green eyes narrowing. "I don't intend to die today." The shorter mercenary grinned. "Good. That'll make this more fun." The palace of Eldoria was alive with whispers, a hive of intrigue and speculation. Servants exchanged furtive looks as they passed through the grand halls, their conversations hushed. Word of Magnus's secret meeting with Eryndor had spread like wildfire, though no one knew the full details. In the royal advisor's chamber, Magnus paced, his brow furrowed. A young attendant entered hesitantly. "Advisor Magnus," the attendant began, "there are rumors circulating about your recent journey to the village." Magnus stopped, his pale blue eyes piercing. "Rumors, you say?" "Yes, my lord. Some claim you found someone significant." Magnus sighed, his grip tightening on his staff. "Let them talk. Truth has a way of revealing itself when the time is right." In a dimly lit tavern, the air thick with the smell of ale and smoke, Lord Cedric sat in a shadowed corner, his sharp eyes scanning the room. Opposite him sat two mercenaries, their rough appearances matching their brutal reputations. "You understand the task?" Cedric's voice was low but commanding. The taller mercenary, a man with a scar running from his temple to his jawline, nodded. "A boy in the forest. Make sure he doesn't leave it alive." Cedric leaned back, swirling the wine in his goblet. "Precisely, but this must look natural. An accident. The last thing we need is suspicion." The shorter mercenary, whose grin revealed yellow teeth, chuckled. "And if he fights back?" Cedric's lips curled into a cold smile. "Then you'll do what you're paid to do. But be warned, he is not an ordinary boy. Underestimate him, and you'll regret it." The taller mercenary crossed his arms. "What's so special about him?" Cedric leaned forward, his voice dropping to a whisper. "He's the son of Kaelion." The name hung in the air, heavy with unspoken meaning. The mercenaries exchanged a glance, their expressions hardening. "Kaelion's blood, eh?" the taller one said. "That'll cost extra." Cedric slid another pouch of coins across the table. "You'll find it worth your while. Do not fail me." The countryside was bathed in the warm glow of morning light as Sir Alaric repaired the roof of an elderly woman's cottage. His hands moved deftly, securing a loose beam. "You've done more than enough, Sir Alaric," the woman said, her voice trembling with gratitude. "Bless you." Alaric smiled faintly. "A knight's duty is to serve, my lady, whether on the battlefield or here." Later at his family estate, his father confronted him. "You've wasted another day on meaningless tasks," his father said sharply. "They're not meaningless," Alaric replied calmly. "Helping others is the essence of knighthood." His father's expression darkened. "And what of your duty to our family? The challenge is upon us, and you squander your time with peasants." Alaric dismounted, meeting his father's gaze. "I will compete, but not for the throne. I'll do it to honor our name. Beyond that, I have no interest in this game of power." His father's anger softened into disappointment. "You're a good man, Alaric, but goodness alone won't secure our legacy." In the palace courtyard, Princess Elara trained relentlessly, her sword slicing through the air. Her strikes were fluid, her form impeccable. Nearby, a row of targets bore the marks of her archery practice, each arrow embedded near the bullseye. A servant approached hesitantly. "Princess, you've been at this for hours. Perhaps it's time to rest?" Elara wiped the sweat from her brow. "Rest? The throne demands strength, not leisure." The servant hesitated. "Your Highness, strength also requires balance. Overworking yourself could—" "I'll stop when I'm ready," Elara interrupted, though her tone was not unkind. Later in the library, Elara pored over the royal family tree, her eyes narrowing as she traced a name. Kaelion. Magnus entered, his presence commanding yet gentle. "What are you reading, Your Highness?" She looked up, her expression guarded. "Who was Kaelion?" Magnus hesitated, his pale blue eyes betraying unease. "A great warrior and a loyal servant to the crown, but that is a story for another time." Eryndor continued his journey through the forest, looking for the sacred cave where the relic was hidden. He unfolded the map Magnus had given him. It led to a steep cliff, its jagged rocks rising like the teeth of a beast. He secured his pack before beginning the climb. The ascent was grueling, his hands raw from gripping the rough stone. At the top, he found the entrance to a cave, its mouth dark and foreboding. Inside, the relic glowed faintly. A booming voice echoed, "Who dares disturb this sacred place?" The guardian appeared. part man, part beast. I am Eryndor, son of Kaelion. The Guardian's eyes narrowed. Kaelion's blood runs in your veins, but blood alone is not enough. Face the trials or leave in disgrace. The Guardian, a towering figure with a lion's mane of silver hair and glowing amber eyes, stood before Eryndor. His voice was a deep rumble that reverberated through the cavern. You have entered the sacred grounds, Eryndor, son of Kaelion. The relic is not for the unworthy. To claim it, you must pass 3 trials of wisdom, courage, and strength. Fail even one, and you shall not leave this place alive. Eryndor steadied his breathing, his green eyes locked on the Guardian. I am ready. The Guardian begins with the trial of wisdom. The Guardian gestured toward a pedestal that rose from the ground. On it rested an ancient scroll, its edges frayed with age. Your first test is one of wisdom, the Guardian intoned. Answer this riddle, and you may proceed. Fail, and you will be consumed by the void. The cavern darkened, leaving only the faint glow of the relic and the Guardian's fiery eyes. His voice echoed ominously. I speak without a mouth and hear without ears. I have no body, but I come alive with wind. What am I? Eryndor's brow furrowed. The words played in his mind, each phrase unfolding possibilities. He thought of the forest and the strange whispers that had followed him. He remembered the eerie sound of his own voice bouncing back to him from the cliffside. An echo, he said firmly. The Guardian's lips curved into a faint smile. Correct. You have shown insight, but wisdom alone will not see you through the trials. The Guardian then takes him through the trial of courage. The cavern shifted, the walls dissolving into a swirling mist. Eryndor found himself standing in the middle of a battlefield. Around him, soldiers clashed with terrifying creatures, their roars piercing the air. In the center of the chaos stood a figure, his father Kaelion. He was locked in combat with a monstrous shadow, his movements powerful but faltering. Eryndor's breath caught in his throat. Father? He whispered, his voice trembling. Kaelion turned to him, his face etched with desperation. Eryndor, help me! Eryndor's instincts screamed to rush forward, but something felt wrong. The scene was too vivid, too surreal. He clenched his fists, forcing himself to focus. This isn't real, he muttered. The shadow lunged at Kaelion, striking him down. Eryndor's heart wrenched, but he stood his ground. You're not my father, he said aloud. This is an illusion. The battlefield dissolved into darkness. The Guardian's voice broke the silence. You have courage, Eryndor. You faced your deepest fear and did not falter. But the final test will demand more. The final test is the trial of strength. The mist receded, revealing a vast arena. The ground beneath Eryndor's feet was jagged stone, and the air was heavy with tension. The Guardian stepped forward, his form shifting into that of a colossal beast with obsidian scales and molten eyes. Your final test is strength, the Guardian growled. Prove your worth in combat. Eryndor drew his sword, its blade gleaming faintly in the dim light. The beast charged, its claws tearing into the ground. Eryndor rolled to the side, narrowly avoiding a crushing blow. He struck at the beast's flank, but his sword glanced off its scales. The Guardian swiped at him, and Eryndor barely raised his shield in time. The force of the blow sent him sprawling. Gritting his teeth, Eryndor scrambled to his feet. He remembered Magnus's words. Strength is not just in the arm, but in the mind. Eryndor rolls to his feet, his green eyes sharp and calculating, his sword ready for the next move. The Guardian, momentarily overextended, snarls and turns, but Eryndor is already moving. With a burst of speed, he lunges forward, his sword gleaming as it pierces through the beast's obsidian scales and sinks deep into its heart. The Guardian lets out a deafening roar, its molten amber eyes widening in shock. Its massive frame convulses, his form shifting back to that of a man. He knelt, his amber eyes meeting Eryndor's. You have proven yourself. Strength, wisdom, and courage. These are the marks of a true heir. From the center of the chamber, a pedestal rises, carrying an ornate artifact, a small crystalline orb encased in a delicate lattice of gold. The orb pulses gently, its glow synchronized with the runes on the walls. The Guardian rose, his expression solemn. Your father, Kaelion, entrusted me with this relic to protect it from those who sought to misuse its power. He knew the darkness that looms over Eldoria, a darkness born from betrayal. He died to keep that darkness at bay. Eryndor's grip on his sword tightened. Who betrayed him? The Guardian hesitated. That answer lies within the palace, where shadows whisper louder than truth. But beware, young heir. The relic you now hold is both a gift and a curse. It will lead you to your destiny, but but it may also cost you everything. Eryndor's heart pounded as the guardian handed him the relic, its glow pulsing faintly. The weight of his lineage pressed down on him, but he squared his shoulders. "I'll face whatever comes," he said, his voice steady. The guardian nodded. "Then go, Eryndor, son of Kaelion. Your journey has only begun." As Eryndor descended the cliff, the relic secured in his pack, he felt a presence. Stepping into a clearing, he froze. Two mercenaries emerged from the shadows, their weapons gleaming in the moonlight. The taller mercenary smirked. "So, you're the son of Kaelion. Let's see if you live up to the legend." Eryndor's hand tightened on his sword hilt, his green eyes narrowing. "I don't intend to die today." The shorter mercenary grinned. "Good. That'll make this more fun." Do you think Eryndor will make it back to the palace? Do you think he'll find who betrayed his father? Let's know in the comments. Subscribe to the channel and like the video so you don't miss out on the next episode. Till next time, bye.